Hey, what's up? It's another episode of Watch You Strappin. These are not watch reviews. It's just a quick wristwatch check with a optional strap pairing. Sometimes these can be considered supplemental or extended watch reviews to opinions to a watch review, but this is a new watch, so I don't have any of that just yet. Although this is far from a new watch, but it's new for me. This came up about 2 years ago. As of the date of this recording, it's about almost the week before Thanksgiving 2024. And yeah, this is something that just recently purchased. You might have seen an unboxing video, but we'll just get into it. This is the Timex Q GMT. It is a quartz GMT movement, but I really like this. It is, of course, on its factory bracelet, which isn't bad. I do think the previous is the three-handed, Timex Q bracelet had a little bit more character. Just the way it's done with all the details and texturing going down basically the middle of the bracelet on that one. It's quite different, but it is, I'm pretty sure those are hollow or folded end links, probably more chintzy, or probably a slightly more cheaper feeling compared to this. These are actually solid links. And it has a quick release actually under here which takes 18 millimeters in between. It does flare out to about 22 here, and I reckon it goes down to, I think it goes back down to 18. I'm just looking at the spacing between these kind of faux center length, or the high polished parts. These look like they're separate, but they're not. But looking at the side, like how much of what I can see of the remaining end link, I guess, in there compared to down here, it looks about the same space. So I imagine it's 22 back down to 18. I'd have to measure it, but yeah, it's not a watch review yet, so just talking here. Yeah, just get that little dust off the crystal. And yeah, this is a really cool watch. I've admittedly in that unboxing video, and if you haven't guessed from the many GMT watches I've gone through, I do like GMT watches, although I have pretty much zero use for them these days because I travel way less than I used to. Yeah, my family was part of United Airlines, so I got discounts, and we just traveled more, primarily to Hong Kong. But those years have been long time ago. But I still. But I never had a GMT watch back then. I just wore whatever, if I even had watches. Yeah, I must have had a watch back then. I can't imagine ever really not having a watch, except for those early periods of cell phone advancement, where this is just before the smartphones, I would say, or maybe the early parts of when smartphones became really super popular, and you could really do a lot more on them. That's when it took over the wristwatch time, because everything was on a phone. But I guess begun a renaissance movement, as maybe other people have, just to go back to a traditional watch, which I really like and prefer to have for my time telling purposes. Where am I going with this? I don't know. I'm just talking about this watch right now on wrist. I think it's, for the price, I think they're around, I believe they're not that expensive. I'm pretty sure they're around 3 something, and you can get it on discount, maybe even less. So, but pretty damn good for what it is. I don't need an automatic GMT watch. I have plenty of automatics. Actually, I had plenty, and I've gone through this period going back to some quartz watches, actually, because the convenience, the accuracy, and yeah, the no nonsense, more affordability in general. I would say, like, one of my more expensive examples would be the Tag Heuer. Turn this thing off. The Tag Heuer Aqua Racer Solograph, but I like it for other reasons. But it's a cool watch, and you can only get that particular look in that configuration. But anyways, going back to this watch, I just love the aluminum bezel insert. Yes, it's very Rolex GMT Master, like the original aluminum bezel insert ones before they went to ceramic. I really prefer this look. Just the sheen of the metal is just much more appealing to me than the ceramic colors. Yes, it could fade. Yes, it could scratch, but that's okay. It's give it character, and I usually take pretty good care of my watches. And the same could be applied for in terms of the quality, robustness, or maybe the lack of the acrylic crystal on here. But in most cases, as long as the damage isn't too deep, you should be able to buff out and repolish it and give it a nice clean appearance again when I might feel it be necessary. But we'll see. I haven't had acrylic crystal watch in some time. I can't remember the last. Well, probably the last one would have been another GMT watch, which was one of the many Glycine Airman watches that I had before they went to Sapphire, which is, I guess, within the last maybe 2 years or so, something like that. It's somewhat recent. They used to always use acrylics for most of their vintage style models, although their modern GMTs did have sapphire. But yeah, I like the deep gloss dial, the applied indexes. I am a sucker, maybe a whore, for Pepsi GMT style, I guess GMT Master style looking watches. And it's a very appealing and classic look. I just like it. And I've been through several homages. I suppose you consider this one one too, but the other ones that I've had from, like, say, Squale, Steinhardt, Glycine even, are a bit even more derivative of the GMT Master design. This one, I would say, the triangle index isn't as elongated. I don't think they usually have a box frame. Of course, it's quartz movement. It isn't a true or traveler's GMT office, but that's fine because I refer to the quick set date. And yeah, I don't need the it would be cool, but I don't really need the jump hour feature because I don't really travel much, and I don't find it too bad to really just, if I get into another destination, just take the moment just to reset my watch and for the new local time zone, because all I care about really is where I'm at. If I'm probably in another country and not thinking about other places anyway, so I really don't even need to keep track of another time zone. I just like the look of a GMT watch. Just, one, especially with this, with the blue and red bezel, it's just 50-50. It isn't like a dive watch where it's probably going to be 15, 0 to 15 or 0 to 20. That's in one color, and then the rest of the 40 minutes would be somewhere else. It's an even, nice, symmetrical division of color, and that just works. And I don't think it works for dive time bezels and 12-hour bezels that have a division like this, on the top and bottom, where it doesn't make sense to me color wise. Why would you why would you divide those colors between, on a timing bezel, between, like, say, 45 minutes to 15 minutes, and conversely 15 to 45 minutes, or on a 12-hour bezel from 9 o'clock to 3 and 3 to 9? Right? There's no real purpose to that other than aesthetics, and that, to me, that kind of cheapens and kind of fakes the moment, much like a 24-hour subdial on some of those chronographs. Like, it's completely useless. You can't set it, and it's just there to fill in the subdial space that would be on a chrono, a 2 or 3, usually a 3 subdial chronograph, just to make it look like there could be a chronograph feature, but it really isn't. So yeah, I don't particularly care for that. Design doesn't trump function in those instances for me. But if you like it, that's all good. Enjoy it. But that's why I don't like those type of things. Anyways, this is nice and slim. I think the bracelet is pretty decently designed. It's, if you look at an AP Royal, it's kind of like this, but not, how it has like these double Centrelink things, or but they're a bit more elongated. Instead, these are more horizontal, and those are probably real separate pieces, versus this is part of one of the larger links that's brushed. But it looks good, and I think yeah, I mean, it's a great grab and go. It's been accurate, and in my example, it's been hitting the tick marks pretty darn on point, which is, I know some people may not get that in their particular example. I've heard, oh yeah, it's a little bit off on some videos I've watched, but then there's some that I saw that are pretty on, spot on the marker, which is great, and which luckily for mine, it does seem to be hitting the marks pretty perfectly, which is great. And that's all I can say right now. I actually have some stuff I need to do, so I better get going. Let's back up the shot, just give you kind of a look on my 7-inch wrist. And this also fills in another spot besides the Pepsi GMT kind of look. It's kind of basically an integrated bracelet watch, just the way the bracelet widens to flow from the case to the bracelet, or vice versa, but you get what I mean. And I think at 38 millimeters is a great size for my 7-inch wrist, at least, because I do find that integrated bracelet watch, it's been a challenge to get one that fits properly, because it's very flat, angular for the most part, and just because how wide the case and the lug area is to meet the bracelet, that also adds a little complication to the way it fits and looks on the wrist, in my opinion. And so they usually were at least 2 to 3 millimeters larger, and so that's why it's something that I would normally feel closer, be comfortable with, like a 40, maybe even a 41 millimeter watch. Definitely for integrated style, it will look too big and wide, and there'll be kind of weird angles and things that are coming off that don't look right. So I think 38 or 37 millimeters for my wrist. Maybe in 36, that might be cutting a little small, but I think 37, 38 is pretty sweet. I don't feel it sticks out, like when I look at it at angles. It doesn't like protrude or plateaus off the wrist weird. And also, particularly the way the lugs are done, sometimes it can look like they're hanging off of the case instead of smoothly integrating and blending from the case through. That's why I also checked out and quickly returned the Citizen Ciosa 40 millimeters. The dial is very plain, so it makes it look very big, and the way the integrated bracelet didn't look that integrated to me on my wrist. Just the way the center link, the male end links, stuck the bracelet out, so it looks like it's hanging off of the case versus being flowing from the case. And then also something about that president style bracelet didn't really fit, in my opinion. I liked it, I thought I would, but then the case itself was angular enough that how rounded a president bracelet is didn't seem to really flow or match to, in my opinion. And so anyways, and I think this one works pretty well. And you can get some pretty good 18 millimeter options, and there are some specific for the Timex Q models as well. So I look forward to trying those out in the near future. So that's about it. Rambling on again, but thanks for watching, and enjoy watches. I'm surely going to be enjoying it this weekend. Late.